Kansas City Chiefs at the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, we have a Super Bowl rematch here. The Niners are favored by 1.5 here. Chiefs undefeated 5-0 coming off their bye week, early bye for Kansas City. Niners are 3-2. Had the little extra rest. I mentioned this a couple shows ago. They had Thursday Night Football last week. So while Kansas City's coming off the full rest with the bye, the Niners at least have a little extended rest coming off their Thursday Night Football game last week against the Seattle Seahawks. So a lot of fun storylines and matchups in this one. Where do you want to start?
Well, so to me, this is one of those games where the thing that jumps out to me is one of these like the sort of shouty show, high level, like nothing narrative type discussions. It's
narratives are fine.
It sounds trite, but like, does San Francisco actually want this one more, right? Like, it would be a really tough loss if they lose to Kansas City in their own house, given the Super Bowl loss, etc. Like, this is one of those games where I do wonder if one side actually is significantly more emotionally invested in it than the other.
Yeah, I mean, Kansas City has those. There's this feel around Kansas City, who's 5-0, by the way. They haven't faltered yet, but there's this feel that they kind of, just get by in the regular season and then unleash the best plays, and they're a little more focused in the playoffs. And whereas we saw the Ravens in week 1 playing that thing, or at least Lamar was playing that thing like an AFC championship.
Right.
Do the Niners come back and do that, right? Look, Kansas City's got 3 Super Bowls in the last 5 years, and a lot of them have come down to a handful of plays here and there,
I mean,
right?
Even this year. like
this year's games.
Baltimore, Cincinnati. Yeah. I mean, they're a toe multiple
times.
A
pass interference, a fourth down, split back, wide run by Zach. I mean, all these one little play here and there to get to 5-0. I think matchup-wise, I'm thinking back to the plays. Like, if you're a Niners fan, the missed opportunities that you're thinking of. Brock Purdy with an overthrow in the end zone, a 3rd and 4, where if the Niners can convert, it's essentially ball game in the Super Bowl. And of course, Spags does his blitz, gets an unblocked rusher, batted pass at the line of scrimmage. Can the Niners just make that one play? Can they be the team that doesn't make the big error in the fourth quarter, miss a key field goal, miss an extra point, commit the pass interference? And then I think matchup-wise, we usually start with the Chiefs' offense, but I want to see the Niners' offense against the Spags' defense. And there are some interesting stats to discuss in there. But again, Niners' offense against this Chiefs' defense.
You have stats?
Yeah, I mean, I could go through the stats, or I can let you respond. I didn't know where I wanted to go with that.
Give me some stats.
I had some interesting ones here. First off, Brock Purdy's average time to throw. Did you know he's got the highest time to throw in the NFL this year?
I didn't know it was the highest, but he's always pretty high, right?
Yeah, but he's at 3.36. I didn't realize this till recently. 3.36 is a monster number. And again, time to throw is not, here's how much time the offensive line gave you.
Right.
It's generally a QB-driven number and a scheme-driven number. It's how long did you take to throw the ball? And then how long did you take? There's a lot of scramble around type plays in there from Purdy. But that's like 0.6 seconds higher than last year. So remember I was talking about Tua to Skylar Thompson, about a half-second difference, and how that's a huge difference. That's Purdy playing like that on purpose this year, but it's because he's got about 300 more yards than anyone else on 10-plus yard throws. So it's a different profile of Purdy, and it meshes horribly against Kansas City. Like, it's strength against strength, right?
Yeah.
Purdy throws the ball down the field. Chiefs have the lowest completion percentage against on 10-plus yard throws, so something's got to give this week.
I was curious how much of that was driven by that Arizona game, where it felt like every single play was him just scrambling around for 7 seconds.
There was a lot. I mean, there was that. But think about Minnesota. Think about Minnesota when they were blitzing him, and we're like, he's not getting rid of it quick against the blitz. He's sitting there, right?
In only one game this year has his average time to throw been under 3 seconds. And that was week 1. So week 1 against the Jets, where theoretically you would be like, okay, let's do this quick, right? Let's get the ball out fast. 2.68 seconds according to PFF Plus. Every week thereafter, it's been over 3, and that Arizona game was 3.7.
That's a monster
which
number.
Wasn't even the highest of his season. Against the Rams, it was 3.75 on average. That's insane.
It's a weird style, man. It's because I'm going to make another ridiculous statement here. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Brock Purdy, when he scrambles around, I think he has Mahomes-like. I'm going to compare him in this one specific area. He has Mahomes-like spatial awareness. I think we've seen elements of that through the years. I don't think he's as good as Mahomes at it. The spatial awareness, the idea of like, I'm going to get 7 yards when I need 6. But Purdy's ability to throw back across his body, his ability, he's got second most first downs on scrambles of any quarterback in the NFL this year. I think he's outstanding at that. We knew he had it early in his career where we said, hey, he's adding this element that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't add to this Niners offense. But now I'm starting to think it's Mahomesian as far as his ability to know when to throw back across his body properly, to know the risks that he can take, and know when to scramble and how to pick up key plays. So I think all of that is going to be an important part of this game. Purdy making special plays, of which he's made way more of those this year than in previous years.
I'm definitely not going to try and do it now because it would just implode the laptop, but I'd be really curious if there has ever been a game like that game he had against the Rams where his average time to throw was 3.75 seconds and he ended up with a 91.8 passing grade. That's absurd. Like, that doesn't happen normally. Like, any quarterback that takes that amount of time on average, I think it was last week, Tom Brady, somebody had one of those plays. Purdy, scrambling around, whatever, it took 6 seconds, got the ball out. And then they joked. It's like, hey, Tom, what was your highest average time? Or what was the longest you ever took with the ball in your hands? It's like 2.5 seconds, Yeah. 3.75 on average is a lifetime. Like, that's nuts.
It is. The other thing I wanted to study and research at some point, Purdy, that profile of like super high time to throw, a good passing grade, so good efficiency, and a lot of downfield throws. That profile, I believe, is unique historically. The other profile that is unique historically is Patrick Mahomes on the other side, where he's been pretty effective. I mean, there's a lot of the advanced numbers have the Chiefs about middle of the pack offensively, but Mahomes has one of the lowest average depth of targets of any quarterback in history, dating back to 2006 when this stuff started to get tracked. Jaden Daniels has his own unique profile. There's a lot of QBs with unique profiles when we look at their style this season.
If you were throwing it on some kind of clustering graph, it would probably be fairly close to peak Russell Wilson, right?
Yeah, Russ with the super, but like Purdy's sack percentage isn't that high, right? So you're not getting. I think Purdy's much better this year, doing it in a unique style. Maybe it is a little Russ-like. And the Niners are sitting here at 3-2, but I don't want to overrate that record. I think they're a couple plays away from 5-1, right? So I still think they are very good. That's why they're favored by 1.5 here. And I think Purdy has gone from super yak dependent in that offense, where he'd make a few special throws and plays here and there, to like, hey, they're chucking it down the field and getting all their playmakers involved. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, Niners are looking pretty good defensively. They can rush the passer a little bit, not as effective as previous years. I want to see Nick Bosa against Juwan Taylor, that one-on-one matchup, and see if the Chiefs can get anything going offensively. I think the last time we saw them, Mahomes probably had that offense probably had their most efficient game against the Saints. You have a quirky end zone interception that made things a little bit worse, but they moved the ball as effectively as they have all season. And they did it with the run game quite a bit with Kareem Hunt against the Saints.
I mean, that's going to be fascinating. Like, the Chiefs' offense is still evolving through necessity at this stage, right? All the injuries that they've dealt with. Like, remember, there was you lose Rashee Rice, and all of a sudden Juju Smith-Schuster pops up with a massive game. And he's the guy that naturally sort of fits into that role of the slot possession, move the chains type of dude. We'll figure out where we can take the shots with Xavier Worthy throughout the game, but we need someone that can consistently move the chains. And it'll be Travis Kelce to a large degree as well, because he's always been that guy, but the receiver that helps do that. See, this was the thing that made, Tyreek Hill so special, is he could do both, right? He could be Xavier Worthy and Juju Smith-Schuster at the same time.
So true.
And then when you get rid of him, you have to replace each component separately, because you're not going to find another guy that can do all of it, at least not without, major investment or major resources in the thing. So Juju, I think, can be that move the chains possession guy the same way Rashee Rice was, and then Xavier Worthy can take the top off the defense and give you that speed, the explosive plays. But it will be interesting to see if that was, a one-time thing until teams figure out, okay, that's what it's going to be, or if that can consistently be the answer for them now. This like throwback offense where like Kareem Hunt is going to be the running attack, Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be the slot guy, and then the new gimmick is the speedster that we drafted in the first round.
They're also tight end heavy. I mean, the Chiefs are starting to look. They're always going to be compared to the last dynasty, which is the Patriots. The Patriots were known for their ability to morph offensively from 3 wide to 2 tight ends to run heavy to pass heavy, whatever it was. We saw a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets, and they went big to throw the ball down the field, big to get the ball, to run the ball, but also to create play action opportunities. Chiefs have that ability to morph, and Andy Reid is so good at playing to his players' strengths, and he's looking like he's going to be able to do that again.
And I'm 100% invested in this idea that Travis Kelce was just out of shape in the offseason because he was, touring the world and taking acting classes and whatever. His last 3 games, right? So the first 3 weeks, he had 4 targets, 3 targets, and then 6 targets. That 6-target game sparked an increase, a leap in his production and his usage. 6 targets became 9 targets, became 10 targets, 4, 7, 9 catches. Yardage went up as well, and his grade last time out was the highest of his season so far. So it's a really small sample size, but we were ramping right up to vintage Travis Kelce, and now they need him more than they have earlier in the season. Now he also goes up against Fred Warner in large part. So that'll be a hell of a matchup.
But the last thing I just want to highlight, and then we'll make our picks. The Fred Warner factor. I just think for the Niners to win this game, their special players need to make special plays. Whether it's Bosa, Fred Warner, Purdy, Ayuk, Debo, they need to make special plays.
And as much as they've been banged up, they still have a lot of those guys. I mean, Fred Warner and Nick Bosa are 2 of the Defensive Player of the Year candidates this year, and in any year, and they have both of them playing on the same defense.
And here's how this is Spags D in a nutshell, and why you have to make special plays offensively against him. They're number 2 in success rate allowed against the run, so percentage of plays that are considered successful, and again, that completion percentage allowed on 10-plus yard throws, best in the league. They make the windows small. They make the margin for error really small for the offense, so you have to hit on some of those big plays, like I said with Derek Carr the other day. Keep chucking it down the field, and if you hit 3 of them, that's your only chance. So I think that the Niners have to make some of those special plays to pull this off. Niners by 1.5 at home, 425 on Sunday. Where are you going with this one, Sam?
I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm buying into that initial instinct, which is I think this game means more to them than it does the Chiefs.
I'll take the Chiefs. Chiefs as underdogs. I know it's not a lot of points, but I'll take Kansas City on the road here. They have beaten the Niners the last few times, including the regular season in 2022. And Harry will also take the Chiefs in this one.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.